Our wonderful boy Creekcraft has made a video on LankyBox stealing thumbnails? What? Really? LankyBox? No. Anyways, I have some thoughts. Let's watch.
So recently, a Roblox YouTuber got exposed. Exposed for stealing some of my thumbnails. And well, that person is LankyBox.
One of the most popular channels on Roblox with over 20 million subscribers.
I didn't know they had 20 million. That's crazy.
Needs to be stopped. For the last 4 years, LankyBox has been directly stealing hundreds of thumbnails from YouTubers in the Roblox community with zero remorse whatsoever.
So I kind of want to preface this video by saying this isn't meant to be like news of like, hey, LankyBox steals thumbnails. We've known this for many years now. We've known that thumbnail theft is rampant on YouTube, and unfortunately, at the end of the day, there really isn't much you can do about it. However, like Creek said, he has a little bit of insight to give on sort of how YouTubers work and why this thumbnail theft occurs so often. But I have some things to add.
Stealing from Flamingo, Denis, Sketch, Creekcraft, and even Gaming with Kev. These guys upload several times a day and are pumping out content.
They upload like 5, 6, 7 videos a day. Like, well, I know how they do it. I'm going to tell you how they do it, but let's keep watching.
So quickly that they literally threw out any form of respect for other creators' artwork. And they have been caught ripping entire thumbnails on multiple occasions. And what's worse, sometimes Lanky...
Honestly, of all the examples that could have been used, this one's not even bad. There's sometimes thumbnail ideas that are so classic and obvious. Like this, I would honestly argue, what else would the thumbnail be? The one shot you have of Man from the Window is this guy's face, and any like horror game thumbnail, you're gonna put yourself being scared and then the subject, which is like the monster. So like, honestly, there's a good chance they didn't even copy this from me. I'm curious, I'm gonna look up Man from the Window. So there's mine. Okay, like look, here's this one. Like, would you say this was a copy? Wait, this one looks more similar to LankyBox's. Wait, what? Wait, when was this posted? Okay, June 10th, 2022. June 5th, 2022. Wow. Sorry, Lissy Noel. You just got exposed. Here, look, how about this? We got... This is what I mean by thumbnail theft is rampant. Me just trying to find another example. Look, you can immediately see Kalis just took this thumbnail. It's the exact same. You can see like it's got the hand on the bar there. It's the same setup. It's just like, you know, it's slightly adjusted, but it's like this isn't a common shot from Man from the Window. It's clearly taken from here. Oh man. See, like, here's a good example. Gaming with Kev. This is his Man from the Window thumbnail. And it's obvious. It's just his face and then the subject. This one's a lot more subtle, but you can even see that Kalis took like the window frame, because like this is weird lighting. It has the blue on the outside on a green window frame. And if you look very closely, you can see the same details on each frame. So it's like thumbnails are constantly being downloaded and then like adjusted slightly so it's different enough. But even still, this is still like a copy of FGTV's. Anyways, let's move on.
Sometimes LankyBox will get more views than the original poster did, making people think that the original was stolen from LankyBox's
That's happened a few times to me.
video. Let me show you some examples. Here's an example of a sketch thumbnail that they stole. This one was 1 year ago, and this one was 12 days ago. It's clearly a carbon copy.
Okay, so Creek talks about this in his video. I'll just quickly go over it. You can see the artist probably doesn't play Roblox, thought that Sketch was a character in the game, and that's why they left the black bar in. And I think that's sort of Creek's main point in this video. Let's quickly just get to that.
On his eyes are even still there.
Yeah.
And here's one they stole from Denis. They're literally almost the exact same. And here's one they stole from Gaming with Kev. The walls are literally the same color.
To be honest, I didn't know about this one, that they copied the Nextbots thumbnail. This one is a clear, like, there's no confusion. This was like a weird idea of like, oh, what if the next spot was eating me? That wasn't like a common thing you saw in next spot thumbnails.
They took Super Horror Bros and then just scaled it down a little bit again and then added their face to the right. How on earth is this fair to other?
So we're gonna stop there. Let's talk about this. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I want to pull back the curtain a little bit on how YouTubers work. Some of us have thumbnail designers that just work on our thumbnails all day. Some of us even have thumbnail sketch designers that makes the sketch for the thumbnail before the thumbnail designer makes the thumbnail. It gets confusing, but that's how it works. Now, why do YouTubers do this, you might be asking? Well, at the end of the day, it's simply so that we can make higher quality content and do it more regularly. Now, the reason why I bring this up is every time something like this happens, I always see people get mad at the YouTuber, and to a degree, of course, it is their responsibility as to what their employees do, but most of the time, the YouTubers don't even know what's going on.
So I agree with everything Creek is saying here. Everything he's saying is true. YouTubers have a team and they have thumbnail artists. The YouTubers often aren't the ones actually doing it themselves. Creek is a sweet boy. I very much admire his positive influence. I'm gonna take a bit more of an aggressive approach and say that I think he's going a little bit too easy on them. Here's the thing. It's true. LankyBox very well could have dozens of employees. And Creek is almost certainly right that LankyBox probably, they wake up, they immediately have everything prepared in front of them to record that day. They just bang, 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 bang right through it. And then they send it all off and their team takes care of it. They don't need to worry about it. They probably barely are looking at their own uploads, thumbnails, and whatever. It's true, but that is simply not an excuse. It's your channel. It's your responsibility to make sure that you're not completely screwing other people.
I guarantee LankyBox probably doesn't even know about all of this. They've probably seen none of these tweets, none of these videos, nothing. They probably don't even get on Twitter. They probably just record a few videos every day, send it off to their team, and then, I guess, go to the beach. I don't know what YouTubers do. I just sit here and play video games all day. And so when I see a thumbnail like this, I don't think that LankyBox went to my channel, copy and pasted my thumbnail onto theirs. What probably happened is someone on their team, again, they probably had dozens of employees. I mean, you kind of have to have that many employees just to make as many videos as they do a day. Well, one of those employees probably found my thumbnail somewhere, maybe on Google or something. They thought it'd make for an easy thumbnail. They grabbed it, put it in their thumbnail, bada bing, bada boom. They probably don't even know it's from my video. And so it's always tough to say who to put the blame on here.
I think it's easy who to put the blame on. The YouTuber. Every time. It doesn't matter if you have employees. I need to change the frame. I can't be looking, Creek can't be looking at me like this while I'm talking. If you are as massive of a channel as LankyBox, you have now hit like Mr. Beast level channel turned corporate and everything is just streamlined. That probably means that you're making enough to pay your employees either enough money where they don't do the absolute bare minimum work, or say they are being sufficiently paid, get better employees that aren't lazy enough that they're just gonna plagiarize. And at the end of the day, it is the CEO, the overseer, it is their responsibility to make sure that their workers are doing the right thing. Good thumbnail artists making original work is not easy to come by. It requires an extreme amount of work and talent, and it's expensive. If you want good thumbnails, it comes at a price. I just want to show some examples here. So my thumbnail artist, Flebsy, they have been making thumbnails for me basically since the start of the Denis channel. What we're seeing right now is like a couple time lapses that they've made of putting thumbnails together. And as you can see, layer by layer, not anyone can do this. This is someone that I highly value their work and their talent. And like, I like to think that I compensate them very reasonably. And so for someone to put in this level of passion and care into their art only for someone to come and then completely rip it off and then often actually get more views than the original work, it sucks. It's terrible. It's an awful feeling. LankyBox is an unfathomably massive and extremely profitable channel. They make an insane amount of money. They have 27 billion views. So to put it very bluntly, I know I'm being kind of aggressive here, and I don't mean to spread negativity or bad vibes out into the world. But hey, you're listening to a guy's opinions on the internet. What do you expect? But they clearly don't care about their image and how they are perceived by their peers. I would like to let you guys in on a perspective that is probably a bit different from Creek's, because like I mentioned earlier, Creek, our sweet boy. In all seriousness, I do think he is a very genuinely nothing but positive impact on YouTube and the Roblox community. And now let's look at me, my channel, and my channel's history. Some of you who have been watching for a very long time, or have maybe heard from other sources in the past at some point, I myself am guilty of copying other people's thumbnails. Now, I will say at no point did I ever directly download and reuse someone's thumbnail, but there was a point when I was first starting, when I wasn't a name yet, I wasn't getting any views, and I was young, naive. It was just a complete lack of care or understanding of consequences. I definitely wasn't as rampant with it as a lot of these channels are, but there were a few examples where I copied some very popular videos on YouTube. I'm sure a lot of people are aware that at one point I copied some of Flamingo's thumbnails when he was still Albert stuff on YouTube. It didn't take very long for this thing to sort of loom over me, and this dark cloud of shame. I gradually over time started to understand there is this thing called dignity, and it's very important to have dignity. The guilt of copying some other people's thumbnails really started getting to me once I started seeing how often Gaming with Kev copied my thumbnails. If you guys aren't aware, hold on, let me find it. Honestly, at this point, I'm kind of sick of talking about Gaming with Kev. From my knowledge, I don't think he steals thumbnails anymore. I'm honestly so over it, I don't care anymore, but it is very relevant to this video. For those of you who don't know, there was a long time where, yeah, Kev was actively stealing my thumbnails. Like you can see, just looking here, mine on the left, his on the right. All the ones on the right were posted after mine. You can see they're direct copies, and these are just some examples, but there were literally hundreds and hundreds of examples. One of the biggest ones being his most viewed video at one point. It had 20 million views, and it was literally just, this was actually a thumbnail that I made myself, and he literally just reused it, got 5 times the amount of views. Anyways, my point is, when this happened to me, oh my god, boy, that sucked. It was a terrible feeling. The second I understood that, I felt so much shame. I immediately went and I deleted all my videos that had ever copied anyone else's thumbnails, because I realized that is not the person that I want to be at all. Like I was saying earlier, if you have a mountain of cash, what more is sprinkling on extra dollars on top of that mountain versus working on your image and how people perceive you? This kind of applies to any massive YouTuber that is still, for whatever reason, feeling the need to, it's just laziness. It's straight up carelessness, laziness. You don't care about your perception. This guy's a really good example. My Crack, 35 million subscribers. He is a prolific thumbnail theft. I have a couple examples here. This is my thumbnail, his thumbnail, my thumbnail, his thumbnail. Maybe it's not the best example. I mean, it is a straight up, he downloaded my thumbnail and put some text over it. Same with this one here. My thumbnail, his thumbnail. He just flipped it around, changed the background. My thumbnail, his thumbnail, my thumbnail, his thumbnail. These aren't the best examples, but there are a lot more, and he's been known to steal from many YouTubers, not just myself. So here's the thing. Thumbnail theft is rampant and inevitable, and there really isn't much you can do about it. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't really care. You can go plagiarize whoever you want. You're probably not really gonna get any consequences whatsoever, which is why so many people do it. People who lack dignity. Sending these people hate, it literally isn't gonna do anything, and like, it's probably only going to further encourage them to do the wrong thing because they're seeing that they're getting hate and they're going, oh, well, why should I care about this community? They don't even like me anyways, so I might as well just keep carelessly stealing, because that's exactly it. They just don't care. So, I mean, my point, I suppose, I would say the best way to discourage this kind of behavior is to just not even acknowledge them in the community. For example, Roblox nominating LankyBox for Video Creator of the Year. Kind of a spit in the face to the community and other creators. Oh, I had this other example, but Roblox removed all their blog. Well, there was an interview with Gaming with Kev that was on the Roblox blog. I guess they removed it. But my point is that when everything was going down with like me and Albert were talking publicly about how Kev was like stealing a whole bunch of our thumbnails, right at the same time, Roblox then featured him on their blog. And so that was just another example of like a clear disconnect and unawareness from the community. And it's like, why are we acknowledging these people when there are so many others that care more, are trying to do things not in a slimy way? I think Creek put it pretty well at the end of his video here.
Whenever something like this happens, I think the best thing to do is to try to contact the YouTuber themselves. Be like, hey, you kind of yoinked my thumbnail a little bit. Can you fix it? Can you change it? And most of the time they will. I guess it just kind of depends on whether or not the creator actually cares or not.
I actually did that with Kev. Said, hey, you're stealing my thumbnails. Can you please stop? He said he doesn't need me monitoring his uploads. So clearly doesn't care. LankyBox, guarantee you they don't care. So I guess that's my point, is Creek's right. There's no point going and sending hate to any of these people. If anything, it'll probably just make them steal even more or whatever, just continue. But I would say the higher level solution is to just not even acknowledge them. Don't let them have a meaningful part in the community and leave that space open for people who actually do deserve it. So in the case of like LankyBox or Kev, I mean, I don't know, maybe Kev's fine now. I honestly don't, it doesn't matter, I don't care. But LankyBox being nominated for Video Creator of the Year, I'll say it again, that's a spit in the face. That is a big L from Roblox. They need to figure that out. I will say, when I went to RDC this year, they did make a point to have a meeting with creators, and they talked about how Roblox could be better at being more in touch with the community and creators as well. And so I think things will get better going forwards. This is something that they will be attempting to listen to the community more overall. In conclusion, Creek is very nice. I may be not as nice. Is there any excuse for this? Even if it was their thumbnail artists and not them? Nope, no excuse. It's your responsibility as the YouTuber. You need to be more aware. You're the one bringing in the millions of dollars, so you can maybe put an ounce of effort towards making sure you're not screwing over others, especially because you're such a massive channel that will so easily stomp on those smaller than you. LankyBox gets 20 times the views that I do. Maybe more. Why are they copying my thumbnails? I don't really know how to end this video, so I'm gonna let Creek do it for me.
But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I try to see the good in everything. Whether you like LankyBox or don't like them, I don't think they're evil people. I just think that sometimes content creators can get a little ahead of themselves, and it's important to be put in our place sometimes. Even people like me. If I ever do something wrong, by all means, tweet about it.
Perhaps I will, Creekcraft.
He could come back tomorrow. Because I'm going to be honest, sometimes I just want to strangle somebody.